Do you believe that the world's number one superpower stands helpless today in front of a strait? This is the biggest proof that confirms how America is suffering today from the most severe, the strongest defeat ever. So what is Trump trying to do? Is he trying today to push French, British and Japanese ships and so on into destruction? He wants to entangle such countries in this war, just as America got entangled. Why has the whole world today started talking about the Strait of Hormuz? Why doesn't Trump talk anymore about the goal of toppling the Iranian regime? What is the imaginary victory that has become Trump's focus today? All these are questions we will answer today. Stay tuned after the break. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our new episode today in this ongoing series of opinion episodes, which we dedicate for the 17th day in a row, as a follow-up to the latest developments, and the developments of this war taking place in the Middle East region between Iran and the Epstein coalition. Today, dear viewers, we begin our topic with this strange statement. The American Scott Bessent. This minister who said today that America is allowing the Iranian oil tanker to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. America is the one allowing the Iranian oil tanker to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, as if he means that America controls the Strait of Hormuz and today it wants to allow Iranian ships to pass this. The American minister officially admitted that the only oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz today are Iranian, Indian, and then Chinese tankers. That means only 3 countries can pass through the Strait of Hormuz today. China, which is originally an ally, Iran transports oil that it originally buys from Iran, and India transports oil that it buys from countries in the region, according to a secret agreement with Iran. In fact, to this day it has not been revealed, it has not been disclosed. What did India offer Iran to be allowed this? I mean by this use, by this privilege, so this matter might be very normal. It's natural for Iran to allow its allied countries to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. China is an ally of Iran, and India is also its ally in the BRICS group. Iran even said a few days ago that any country that expels the ambassadors of the Epstein coalition or announces its support and solidarity with Iran will be allowed to use it. So Iran admits and says it very frankly that the Strait of Hormuz is open, but only with prior approval from Iran. It means it's open to its partners and allies and so on. It means that Iran is the one who decides who is allowed to pass through today and who is not allowed to do so. The American minister Bessent said that he believes there will be a normal opening of the passage. Pay close attention to this statement. He said he believes there will be a natural opening of this passage. And he said that America will then be satisfied with Iran. We need to pause at this statement because it shows how the American objectives for this war have shifted from toppling the Iranian regime in stages, of course, to opening the Hormuz Passage or the Strait of Hormuz. Pay close attention, dear viewers, that all eyes and all the talk today, whether in the media or in statements from officials and leaders, is only about the Strait of Hormuz. So notice that today, America is deliberately shifting attention to the Strait of Hormuz. All the focus has become about the Strait of Hormuz, as if the goal of this war is only to open the Strait of Hormuz. That means Trump today is deliberately playing this role, shifting attention to the Strait of Hormuz and trying to make it the main objective. So pay attention, as soon as Iran allows ships to pass through this strait, in Trump's view, this will be considered an achievement. At that point, Trump might say, "We succeeded in opening the Strait of Hormuz, and it will never be closed again," and that he saved the world from a serious energy crisis that was threatening the world. So this just confirms and further emphasizes that Trump is truly experiencing an unprecedented predicament today. He is looking for any way, whatever it may be, to get himself out of this quagmire. He's searching for any straw to cling to, just so he can say that he won this war, that now is the time to stop this war, and then of course to withdraw from this war. Trump is now calling for help from all the countries of the world. He's asking Europe, Russia and China for help. He's asking them to help open the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, Trump made a statement saying that he would postpone his upcoming or expected visit to China if China does not provide any help in opening this passage. There is a visit that Trump will make to China at the end of this month, starting on March 31st and ending on April 2nd. But Trump has threatened to postpone this visit if China does not help him in this matter. Trump now sees this as the only remaining straw for him to get out of this war. That's why he's asking for help from almost every country in the world and threatening these countries. He threatened China, as I said, and even threatened Europe. Regarding the Ukrainian issue, he said that he provided assistance to Ukraine, so Europe should also help him in this matter. He also threatened NATO, saying that if NATO does not respond to this request, it will be bad for NATO's future. He is threatening the future of NATO as if he's threatening that America will withdraw from the alliance. So basically, he's threatening almost every country. Pay close attention. The issue of the Strait of Hormuz is a scandal today for America and for Trump. I mean, America is the world's #1 superpower with all these destroyers, submarines, stealth aircraft and aircraft carriers that it boasts about, and all that military power. It can't even open a sea strait. Against whom? Not against Russia or China or one of the major countries, but against the naval power of a third world country, a country from the global south, against a naval force that Trump claims he has completely destroyed. I mean, we're talking about a destroyed naval force. This is an insult. This is a scandal. Today, American companies working in the energy sector in the Middle East, like ExxonMobil, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, these companies, they are contacting the American government, insisting on the need to intervene because the losses have become catastrophic for them, especially in the Arabian Gulf region. But America responds to them by saying it cannot intervene. Just imagine with me how even international cargo ships are being sent today, according to a number of international reports. They are sending requests to the US Navy to escort them so they can pass through this strait. But they receive a rejection. They can't do it. Why? Because they know very well that any approach or entry into the Strait of Hormuz would turn the situation into a disaster for the US forces. This means that this is a scandal today and it's an insult, but this scandal and this insult will become a disaster for America and the US forces at that time. That's why Trump is asking for help from all countries today. Why? Because he doesn't want to send his own troops to destruction. He wants to send these other troops, British, French, Japanese, and so on, into destruction, into this big test. And today he wants to seek help from China, so that it gives him guarantees that Iran will not target the American naval forces. They can pass through the Strait of Hormuz safely. The only thing certain today is that if the American military ships succeed in passing through the Strait of Hormuz, meaning if they succeed in opening the Strait of Hormuz, be sure that he will promote it. He will promote this event as a great victory for Trump, and Trump will use it then to stop the war. But what is clear up to today is that all these countries are targeting the US Navy. Would any country accept to send its forces into this very dangerous test? Because if a serious security incident occurs, the losses will not be limited to 5 or 10 soldiers. We're talking about sinking a whole ship or frigate that costs more than $700 million, and we're talking about more than 100 soldiers who are usually on board these ships. And today, countries do not want these losses. They do not want to lose an entire military capability for the sake of Trump. Especially since no one can guarantee what the coming days will be like. There are threats, there is a major war coming. It could be today, it could be in 2 years, maybe in 3 years, or maybe even sooner. These countries like France or Britain or others will strongly need these military capabilities, this ship, or these military assets that would be sunk at that time. So they don't want to lose them, they don't want to get involved in a war that isn't theirs to begin with. It's not their war in the first place. The British newspaper The Guardian said that the Strait of Hormuz is in the hands of America, but Iran alone, it said that Iran is the only one that can open or close it. No one else in the world can open this strait except Iran. The newspaper said that any single Iranian missile or any suicide naval drone would lead to catastrophic results for these ships and for these countries in the first place. Therefore, the British newspaper The Daily Telegraph also said that the British Prime Minister rejected this American request. It said that Britain refused the request and will not send any ship to the Strait of Hormuz. So it's clear today that Iran has shown the whole world who really holds the reins in this war. It has truly shown who controls the Strait of Hormuz. The American newspaper The New York Times said that Iran's capabilities exceeded all expectations and said that they astonished America and the whole world. So pay close attention today. As soon as the conversation shifts from toppling the regime to opening the Strait of Hormuz, this is in itself a major victory for Iran, because this reflects exactly who the victor is in this war today. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard said that after analyzing a set of satellite images, they confirmed that they succeeded in destroying 80% of the capabilities of American military bases in the region. They said that command and control centers were destroyed, air surveillance towers were destroyed, and a number of weapons and supply depots were destroyed. They said all of this happened at 4 American military bases in the UAE, Bahrain, and so on. We haven't seen for a very long time since the end of World War II losses of this magnitude among the American military. And this is happening in just a few days, about half a month. Today, the disaster facing the American military isn't just the scale of these losses. The real disaster is the extent of this attrition and what could come next after this war. These missiles like Tomahawk missiles, these radars, THAAD systems, guidance systems, and so on, all of them are weapons that require rare earth metals. And where does America get these metals from? From China. Today, for example, to manufacture a single Tomahawk missile or to produce one F-35 fighter jet, China is involved. It takes hundreds of kilograms of these natural minerals and so on to manufacture a missile or a tank, and then tens of tons of these rare natural resources. So the problem today for America is that China controls all these rare minerals found in the world, and what's even more dangerous for America is that China is ready. It needs hundreds of ready mines, producing large quantities of these minerals daily and sending them to China. Meanwhile, America has fallen far behind in this field today. Even these reserves that America controls, which we talked about in a series of previous episodes, these reserves are still only on paper. It needs many years of investment and technological development to reach the production level, to fully form, for example, the entire industrial supply chains, from mining to manufacturing. Therefore, when we say that America has depleted thousands of interceptor missiles, thousands of Tomahawk missiles, offensive missiles and so on in this war, it's very serious for them because replacing that is not an easy matter. Some people, when they hear that America is suffering from a major shortage in its stockpile of missiles and munitions and so on, think that this is impossible. They say it means America can't be the superpower in the world. And while it suffers from this simple problem, they think it's easy, just related to expanding a factory, increasing the workforce, things like that, and that's how missiles are produced. Honestly, but it's not like that. In reality, it's very complicated. It requires a large amount of raw materials from rare natural resources. It needs to expand supply chains to capacities that America actually doesn't have. And therefore, here we find that there is a significant depletion that America is suffering from. Here we see that compensating for these losses will take 5 years or more for America. And the problem here, and what's dangerous, is that time is not on their side. At any moment, we could witness a major world war. At any moment, we could see a Chinese invasion of the island of Taiwan. At that point, America will find itself in a time crisis, losing these capabilities in America to an opponent that isn't really its match. In reality, we find that China is adding large numbers of equipment and missiles to its stockpile every day. The truth is, Trump is facing a very big dilemma. He dragged America into this war, a war that America could have avoided. And now he's just turning attention toward the Strait of Hormuz, because he wants to end this war by any means. He wants to end this war in some way. What matters to him is that it doesn't end in a humiliating way. He just wants to claim a fake victory so he can stop the war and get out of this war of attrition, which mainly benefits China. So, in the next few hours, we'll see how this conflict that has now started around the Strait of Hormuz will unfold. Will this victory actually be given to Trump, or will Trump find himself facing yet another new quagmire? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you, and see you next time.